And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Local Community Hour. I am your temporary host for now. We're transitioning from the WRMN morning show to the Local Community Hour. I didn't have to do this. I asked if I could do this because we do have some special guests, and I am a big fan, of course. My brother is a retired Chicago firefighter.
Is that right?
And so when I saw that Chief Robb Cagaan and Division Chief Chris Kennedy came in to talk about Fire Safety Week, I said, I want to do it. Let me host them. Let me host them so that I can talk to them about all the things that are going on during Fire Safety Week. I know our own Dean DeLaley asked for you to come down. You answered the call. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
And if you have any questions for the chief, you can always give us a call at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. The studio phone lines are open. Or if you want to chime in on the text line, you can send your questions on the text line, 505-926-1410. That's 505-926-1410. It's Fire Safety Week. Okay, so this is bringing me back to when I was in grammar school.
Always does,
right?
Yes.
And the fire chief would show up, or a firefighter would show up, and you guys would show up like in uniform. Mm-hmm. Or one of the firefighters would come in this whole gear and all that. Mm-hmm. The first thing I'm going to ask is that going on too? Like, do you have any of your guys going out to school?
That does happen still on a regular basis. Yeah. We have we don't really hold everything till just Fire Prevention Week. We do things throughout the year.
Right.
And so we do have a grade school fire safety education program that runs primarily in the fall, but also we do some schools in the spring. And that's where we send the firefighters in, and they talk about stop, drop, and roll, the importance of smoke detectors, and having the kids go tell their parents to go check your smoke detectors, and that type of information. And then because the kids are usually pretty young, they're more interested in the gear like you're talking about. Uh-huh. So the firemen get all dressed up in their gear, and they kind of show that off, and then we take them out and usually do like a show and tell with the fire engine.
Oh, yeah. That's it. My little brother is a retired Chicago fireman, and for his retirement at his station house, they brought, the guys took out the fire trucks, and like my nieces and nephews and all the kids in the area were going on and getting on the truck. It was a lot of fun to see that. I know kids totally get into that sort of thing.
They do.
There's a lot of fun. Yeah, firefighters. It's like firefighters. You guys are like Superman. You're the ones that go in and rescue people. You're like, wow. Like
there's a level of truth to that, but we don't look at ourselves that way. We certainly don't look at ourselves that way.
Well, I know, I speak to the point that you're there. People look at firefighters, I think, quite positively as you're really helpers. You're there to help people, and all our first responders are there. Mm-hmm. But again, but there is that level of that heroism. I know you guys are, that you don't view yourselves that way, but I'm saying on the outside, people kind of look at you that way.
Sure.
Okay, so it is Fire Safety Week, and there are different things that, of course, we want to make sure we're aware of. And I know, especially with the holidays coming up. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's my first question. Are my Christmas lights really that much of a danger if I leave them up all year?
Well, it depends on the type of lights you're talking about.
Well, I've got these are from the 70s.
Okay. So in and of itself, being from the 70s does not make it hazardous.
Yeah, but those lights, I have to keep going through the string and try to find the one that went out.
Oh, so little tiny lights.
Yeah, so I have to get through it.
That's a safety mechanism.
Yeah.
That when one goes out or there's a short in one of those, usually the whole line goes out. Mm-hmm. And so, it's really more of a hassle trying to, like you're talking about, trying to find those. So when you get to those small lights, most people end up just discarding them because something's not right. If you're putting up lights like my mom has from the 50s that have the larger bulb,
yes,
those in of themselves are not necessarily hazardous, but it's making sure the wires are still not frayed. There's no broken connections, things like that that can cause arcing and sparking. Those are where the real problems come in.
Like, what about when people have that octopus coming out of their outlet?
Okay, so that's a different issue than the lighting itself. When you What people don't understand, I've been on the radio show many times in the past, and we've talked about electrical safety issues and the issue of extension cords. And that, if you go and say, I need an extension cord for the house, just going to Home Depot or Menards or Ace Hardware and buying there's one, I'm just going to buy that, is not the right thing to do. You have to manage the needs of the appliance or whatever it is that you're going to be powering with the size of the extension cord. So, for example, if you buy a standard extension cord at one of those stores and you're going to use it to power a window air conditioning unit, there's a good chance you're going to have a failure that could result in a fire because it's overpowering that extension cord. So you can't go by the size of it. There's lots of orange extension cords out there that you see for outdoor use that are not rated very highly. You have to look at the tag and know if I'm going to be doing a window air conditioning unit that's going to draw 15 amps, I have to have an extension cord that's rated for that. And that's how you manage that. Also, your outlets are not designed to take 2 outlets and turn them into 20 outlets. That's not how the house is designed to work.
Yeah, but they sell me the little thing where I can plug all those.
There's a lot of things that people sell you that are not good for you. So you have to remember that. But when you're plugging things in, you want to spread them out amongst your different outlets. And so you can use a power strip. And a power strip, as long as it's a properly rated power strip for what the load is, and has a built-in circuit breaker. Those make it much safer.
Okay, so looking at, I bring those up kind of in jest, but now we're preparing for the holidays and winter. Our electrics are going to be getting different, a different kind of demands made of them, and then people are doing things like to stay warm over the winter. Are there any particular hazards that we need to be cognizant of, common mistakes that people make with this the approaching holiday and winter season, things that you guys end up dealing with from time to time?
You want to take that?
Yeah. So the number one cause of home fires is heating. So especially space heaters are very dangerous in the winter. So when you're setting up space heaters in your home, you want to make sure you're keeping them 3 feet away from any source of flammable materials.
Like, don't put it right next to the bookshelf where it looks really nice.
Right. Or one time I responded to a fire that was started because they had a space heater in the basement next to the laundry room, and someone had thrown the dirty clothes that were going to go in the laundry on top of the space heater. Oh! Started the fire.
Jeez.
So a lot of fires are caused by space heaters. So we do see a definite increase in fires.
We also see them placed too close to the beds. So you're trying to heat the room, and you get up at night or in the morning and you leave, and either sometimes people throw the sheets off the bed and they go over the heater, or the heater is just placed too close. They go off to work, heater kicks on, and then you can end up catching the bed on fire, which can really burn up the house. So there are definitely issues with space heaters, the proximity of space heaters. You want to keep everything at least 3 feet away from a space heater, at least 3 feet. And you should never have a space heater on in a room that you're not in.
Because I was to say, I see some of these newer models that are supposed to have safety, breakers in them. Like if it gets knocked over, it'll automatically turn off or stuff like that. Are there any particular models that you guys recommend? You think this would be really good to have? Because some folks are using space heaters they've had for a long time.
If you're using a space heater that's more than, I would say, probably 10 years old, it should be replaced.
Those things are like, literally, it's got the little wires from a toaster in it. It's just projecting the heat towards you.
But you have to have, what you're referring to is tip-over protection.
Right.
So anything built in the last probably 15 years has tip-over protection, but you want to make sure that you see that. They should not be selling anything that does not have that. And that should be on the box. It would have tip-over protection. It should have a high limit switch in there, which means if the temperature gets too high, it'll automatically shut off also. But those safety things are components that theoretically can fail. And I have seen that happen. So that's where you go back to, you should not leave a space heater operating in a room that you're not in.
Right. 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. If you have questions for Chief Sagan or Division Chief Kennedy, we're here. 5 505-926-1410, 505-926-1410. If you're feeling a little shy, you don't want to have your voice heard on the radio, that's understandable. You can text your questions in. How often do you get a chance to have pretty much the chief and a division chief here to answer your questions? Mr. Kennedy, Division Chief Kennedy, I'm a chief, division chief. Is like a commander under there, or like what the different ranks in the fire department? Like, can I get like an honorary something here?
We can look into that. I can't commit today.
You have any, now again, with the holidays, we're talking about that. Do you have any, like, you say, seeing these fires that have occurred? Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, like, something that occurred that you were like, you got to be kidding me. Like, it's like, seriously? You gotta be, I mean, again, the fire, like the heater right next to the dryer and the clothes, that I get. But I mean, has there ever been something else where you're like, oh, come on, really?
You know,
we see a lot.
I know, I was gonna say.
but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people who, have a fire in the fireplace and then take the ashes out and throw them in their garbage can. And then that catches the garage on fire, and no one notices that the garage is on fire until it's communicated into the house. So, unfortunately, most fires are accidental in nature, and human error is often the cause of that, and people just don't realize the danger they put themselves in until it happens to them. So,
it's like I part-time bartend at this place, and they have, some of these bars have the pizza ovens where they can sell the pizzas. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, the place I'm at no longer has a pizza oven because one of the bartenders who's no longer employed by this particular bar put the pizza in and didn't take the little cardboard disc off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, how do you not know how to make a pizza?
We see a lot of oven fires where people have put something into the oven that's still in like a Tupperware container, plastic.
Wait, Tupperware in an oven?
Yep. Or they store things in their oven and then forget they stored it.
Okay.
And they turn the oven on.
Yeah.
We had a fire once that was, they had stored a giant wok of oil in their oven and then forgot it was in there and started the self-cleaning cycle on their oven. So oil, when it gets really hot, catches fire, and a lot of oil in the oven caused a pretty good kitchen fire in there. So
I've been
forget.
Okay. Well, again, it's that I can see like being absent-minded about, because that's the thing in Hispanic families. We store all our pots in the oven. And I did that once too, where it's like I wanted to make a pizza. I'm making sure the cardboard is off, but not remembering to empty out the oven before I opened it up. I see a lot of different new sort of thing, countermeasures for fires. Of course, everyone has a fire extinguisher. I've seen this new, it's like a blanket type thing that you throw over, like you throw it over your pot or whatever. Sure. What are things that you would recommend people make sure they have on hand over these next, pretty much generally, but over these next few months when these types of hazards can occur?
Having a small fire extinguisher, especially one that's rated for ABC fires, in your kitchen.
Can you explain the ABC fires?
Sure. So ABC fires, there's different types of fires need a different type of fire suppression. So, for example, when we talked about that fire with the big pot of oil, if you pour water on that fire, it's just going to spread it.
Right.
You got to have a smothering type agent or CO2. So you need a fire extinguisher that's rated for that type of fire. So having a fire extinguisher in your home that's rated for those types of fires, because generally speaking, most fires in the home, or a lot of fires in the home, are cooking related. So having a fire extinguisher that's rated for a cooking fire is very important. So having one in reach of your kitchen is a good idea. Smoke detectors, very important. Most fires start out very small. It takes them a little while to grow. So if you get early warning that you have a fire in your house, and you have that fire extinguisher, you can extinguish it.
One thing I want to touch base with regarding the smoke detectors is I have come on this radio show.
It's annoying. How do I get it to do that? Stop that.
The most important thing. Well, there's a couple things. One is, and I've come on the radio show a number of different times with Chief Lally and some other opportunities to come on, and I've always talked about smoke detectors. We cannot overemphasize the importance of having working smoke detectors in your home. If you're sleeping, I don't care if it's in the middle of the day and you're taking a nap, you're in the middle of the night, you're in your basement if you have a basement, you're doing laundry down there like my house is, and you have a fire on the second floor in the bedroom, you won't know it without having smoke detectors. And smoke detectors are the number one thing that everybody should have in their home. And under the law, you're required to have them. But in January of 2023, the law changed in Illinois that requires you to have new smoke detectors are required to be sealed batteries, which means you cannot replace them. They're a 10-year lifespan. You just buy them, put them up, and then you let them go. You won't get the beeping then.
Right.
Because they don't change out batteries. You know, the old adage used to be when you change your clocks, change your batteries. We still teach that because there are still plenty of people out there who have older smoke detectors that don't have the sealed batteries, and that's okay to have those still, but you need to change those batteries every 6 months. So you don't run into the problem like you're talking about with the beeping, but also to make sure that they're working. But if you buy the new ones, and you replace what you have today with these new ones that are sealed, you don't have to worry about that. You put them up and you forget about them. But it's critically important that every home have working smoke detectors, at least one on every level, and definitely one outside of all the sleeping areas.
And the newer ones, are they smoke and carbon monoxide detectors?
You can get them both ways. So a less expensive one would be just a simple smoke detector. But the Illinois also has a law about having it's mandatory to have a carbon monoxide detector also outside of your sleeping areas. So it works well if you can get them both together. However, what is beneficial, especially from our standpoint, is finding a carbon monoxide detector that has a digital readout on it. Because sometimes, even with smoke detectors, you can get faulty alarms. So oftentimes a carbon monoxide detector goes off. They call the fire department because we have gas monitoring equipment. But it's helpful for us to see, was there actually a reading? So usually the combination units don't have that. So if you have the ability to have separate carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, and you have a carbon monoxide detector with a digital readout, that's what I consider to be the best situation. That's what I have in my home. But if you prefer just to have the one, that's perfectly acceptable too, that does both.
Are there any programs like for folks who are like, say, seniors or folks on fixed incomes to help them pay further or supply them with these types of detectors?
So we do have programs from time to time in the fire department where we can give away smoke detectors, and we get them from organizations like the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance, for example, have smoke detector programs where we can obtain free smoke detectors and we can come out. One of the things, for the most part, the rules are that we are required to put them in, though.
Right.
So sometimes people don't want to let other people in their home. Totally understand that. But that is a limiting factor because the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance program, for example, is just one program, does require that we come in and we install them. And we document that we installed them because they don't want to, their whole purpose in giving this away is to ensure that they're getting put up. So we can't just give them away to somebody and then assume that they're going to put them up.
Another thing too, and it's kind of unrelated yet not, and talk about the newer tech. Have you guys seen those heated vests that people wear in the winter? You know, it's like I don't have one, but it's like it's almost like you've got like a heating coil going through, and it's supposed to. Have you seen those? Have you ever seen any issues with those? Like,
no, but those are the same type of technology that you have in heated blankets,
right?
So heated blankets. Anything that have those wires, those are pretty thin wires. So it all depends on how you treat them. And if you're, if you wad it up and you're kicking it and stepping on it and those wires break, yeah, you could run into an issue. The bigger issue that we have seen over the last few years is lithium ion batteries. That's the big thing. You want to talk about those a little bit?
So the problem we're seeing with lithium ion batteries is, when they fail, the failure can be a catastrophic fire.
I hear they go kablooey, right?
They go different. They
Some
can go different ways.
Some can, like the laptop ones. I've heard that some laptop batteries have been known to do that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when they fail, a lot of times they're failing when people are charging them.
Oof, okay.
And where do people charge their lithium-ion batteries? Usually out in the garage, right? You have your leaf blower or your power tools, and you're done using them for the day. You put them in a charger on a charging bank in your garage, and then you go inside your house. Well, when they fail, again, the fire's starting in that garage, and it can get going pretty good before anyone notices that the garage is on fire. So we've had a couple of significant structure fires here in Elgin due to lithium ion battery failure. So
Yikes.
So there are a few things, though. I know time's getting short a little bit, but a few things that I want to make sure that we touch on, especially with the holidays coming up. So one, we talked about the Christmas lights. Again, with any of the Christmas lights, the Christmas decor that have lighting, you want to make sure that those are things that aren't, if you're going to walk out of the room, fine. But if you're going to bed, don't leave all those things on. Make sure you turn those off. If you have a live Christmas tree, you have to make sure that you water it. Mm-hmm. You want to always make sure that you cut off once you get it home, whether you buy it at Menards or you go fresh cut it. You want to cut off about the bottom 2 inches of it so you get a fresh bottom, fresh trunk. And then you need to make sure that you keep that watered all the time, because if it dries out, those are incredibly catastrophic failures inside of a home. As we get into the winter months, if we start to get some snow this year, if you have the ability to keep your hydrant out in front of your home clear, if you have a hydrant in front of your home, that is a huge benefit for us. We don't have the ability to go through the entire city of Elgin, 38 square miles, and go and dig out all the hydrants. So any help that we can get from the community in helping maintain a clearance around that hydrant, especially if we get a large snowfall, is hugely helpful for us.
Anything else? You guys are full of stories here, but I don't want to keep you all morning.
Oh my gosh, we need about 5 hours to go through some stories. It's significant. But I just think it's important that, we want to emphasize the issue of the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors. Oh, when we talk about carbon monoxide, one other thing is don't use generators in enclosed spaces. So if we end up with an ice storm this winter and power lines go down and we're out of power, which is where we see this happen a lot in the winter, people get generators and they bring them into their garage and then they run it in their garage. The problem is those generators are going to create carbon monoxide, and they create a lot of carbon monoxide. That carbon monoxide will filter through the house. Oof. And we've had situations where we have had people die because of carbon monoxide poisoning here in the city. So it's critically important that if you are going to use a generator, that generator is outside and you have proper size extension cords, and it's a fairly, I don't want to say, it's fairly dangerous situation if all of the factors that need to go into play, such as proper sized generator, proper sized extension cords, length of extension cords, are all adhered to. And that's usually something that the average homeowner doesn't.
All right. If you want more information and need help, you can always contact the Elgin Fire Department. Go to elginil.gov. See a very handsome Chief Cagaan there. I'm looking at it. He's in the gear and everything. Thank you so much, Chief Cagaan and Division Chief Kennedy.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate you being here. This has been the first half hour of the Local Community Hour. Matt McNeil is back with some guests of his own. We'll be back after this short commercial break.